Hi class, I'm working on assignment 1 in week 3 of ITL 530. We got one more week after this. I can't believe it's gone this fast. This prompt here, we are reflecting on a lived experience where we've encountered conflict. We're telling how we dealt with it and how we used equitable learning practices to deal with the situation, and then how these promote, positive and equitable learning environments throughout my whole experience in academia. So my story, last year we had a player on our baseball team that was isolating himself and showing up late to practice with kind of bad body language. Went on for about 10 days. I decided to take the kid aside and just ask some questions. Before this period, he was very upbeat, very happy, good energy, remarkable baseball player. And I felt like I had a better relationship with him than the head coach did. So I took him aside. Come to find out, parents are getting divorced. He can't come to practice on time because there's overlaps in each of the parents' schedules. So we had to be creative in how to kind of modify our practice schedule and our practice time so that he could be accommodated. Now, we couldn't move practice back for everybody, right? Because we got 45 kids in the program. We couldn't move it from 4 to 4:30 when everybody else's parents are, on a certain timeline and have a certain routine. So we gave this kid, like a 20-minute window, and it was super helpful in getting him to practice on time and making sure that he only, he maybe missed half of stretch and like half of our throwing routine. So he didn't miss much. He could kind of do his stuff quickly and get in the mix with everybody. But that's, something that I can relate to in the classroom. There's going to be these same types of situations that come, and I'm going to have to be equitable with how I deal with them. So the first specific strategy that I would implement in the classroom is the idea of making sure that I do not have a bias when I split my students up and break them up in the classroom. It promotes, cultural inclusion. It doesn't, there's no gender bias involved. There's no ability bias involved. These are things that can be like harmful to students' egos, to students' self-esteem. So it's just not a good idea. So first thing, split the students and group the students without having a specific bias. That comes from the text Dynamics of Skill Acquisition, a constraints-led approach. The other one that talks about the same thing is Mindfulness for Students, a curriculum for 9th through 12th graders. The second strategy that I would use is just learn about our students and be a good listener as an educator. Some of the teachers that I had growing up, some of them had egos, and we all have an ego to a certain degree, but some of them had an ego where, they thought their way was the only way, and there was only a one certain way to get their assignments done, yada, yada, yada. But they never asked for, student feedback, and they didn't want to learn about maybe what our best literacy skills were. Maybe they just wanted us to learn by hearing them speak, when I could learn by, pictures or visuals or things like that. So learning about the students is huge. I got a lot of this stuff from Prime for Character Education, 6 Design Principles for School Improvement by Marvin Berkowitz. The other one I found information on this same topic nurturing students' character, everyday learning activities for social emotional learning. That's by Jeffrey Kress. The third and final strategy that I would use in the classroom for equitable learning environments is, just like I said, teaching to different learning styles, and this kind of overlaps with, the safety in a classroom, right? So making sure that we talk to every student that walks in the door, and we know what their interests are, we know what their hobbies are, what they like to do for fun, maybe what their favorite food or favorite sports are. We can learn a lot about how they learn by how they interact with us. And I think it's huge. I feel like they feel safe. They feel safer when you have this constant dialogue with them, even if it's very short every day. 1 or 2 minutes. It could be, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? Can I help you with anything? These are all ways for us to develop more awareness on what our students' learning styles are. I got this from Everyday SEL in high school. That's by Carla Philibert. And then the last one, I got more information on SEL practices from the Social and Emotional Development of Gifted Children. Maureen Neihart. I read this book when I was a special ed aide, and it gave me a lot of information on how to not make classroom activities equal, but make them equitable. Finding the right recipe for each student. That's what the key is here. So UDL engagement checkpoints, they listed a couple resources on multi-tiered systems of support. This is huge. I think the communication's at the forefront of it, making sure that we have, number one, communication with our students, and just learning who they are, how they learn, having communication with family members, reaching out to mom and dad or whoever the legal guardian is through email, through text, whatever it may be, Zoom calls, and then to branch out from that, administrators and then district officials. So just figuring out ways to optimize that chain of command, I guess you could say, and making sure that all those things are touched on. But I think making a classroom equitable is one of the first things that I'm going to harp on when I do my student teaching, now that I've been exposed to so many classes in this program that make it such a priority. So just having the awareness, seeing the classroom, understanding, just classroom dynamics, and I think just having good dialogue, having good rapport with your students will make them feel safe, and it will give you information on how you can make your classroom more equitable. So thank you guys for listening. Just give me feedback. Thank you.